Why is this such a touchy one? Such a touchy subject. Ugh. I hate it. Over the last 6 or 7 months, we've got a ton of questions about average Joes and what we're about, why we do it, why average matters, why do you aim for average? You know, why is it called average when the world is telling you you should be the very best at something? You know, all those things. So we want to do a quick frequently asked questions video. So just a quick preface, you're going to see a lot of this mug. If you're not really into that, you can go to Big Tex Ordinance, go hit them up, go shop on their page while you listen to me answer all these questions for you, or go to TRIARC Systems or Tag Firearms or any of our other sponsors. Do some online shopping, go check some stuff out, and you can listen to me and I'll answer these while we go through. So also goonlife saves you money and all those. But the number one question we get over and over and over again, and I've answered it in like 5 or 6 different videos, is will you guys ever do the OG patch again? Are you gonna make another run of them? Are you gonna sell them? Where do I get one? How do I get one? So the OG patch, which is the G.I. Joe patch, the average Joe's G.I. Joe patch. This patch has to be earned. It cannot be purchased. We don't give them away. The way that you earn it is by showing up to a range day. That's it. It's super simple. All we're asking you to do is to get out and train at one of our range days and you get that patch. That's it. That's the only way to get it. We will never sell it. We'll never have any other way to get it other than that. Because the most important thing about being a gun owner is that you are proficient with your firearm. We want to give you a little extra motivation to get out to your range day. We know it's a little hard for some of you because you live at different places around the world or around the country, which is why we started Average Joes across America to try to make it a little bit easier for you to come to. Now, I know we only limit it to 100 spots at our big ones, and then the ones across the US vary depending on where we're at. But that's it. That's how you get one. Never be for sale. So hopefully that makes it clear. If you want one, show up to a range day. Second most asked question we get is, what is Average Joe's? Why does it matter? What are you guys all about? So Average Joe's started out as a range day to bridge the gap between the new gun owner and then the real squared away shooter. So let me draw a quick bell diagram for you if I can. And on here, we're gonna say new gun owners, and then we're gonna say like grandmaster shooters. And that's, I know there are other good shooters out there who are not technically grandmasters, but this, for the sake of this demonstration. So this is where our gun ownership falls in, right? So we have our grandmaster shooters, which are the most proficient, the best shooters in the world, in the country, however you want to designate that. And then you have new gun owners. And everybody else kind of falls in the average, right? So like if you're not here, you might be above average, you might be better than the guy next to you, but you still technically fall in average for the sake of this diagram, right? Because you're not the very best, you're not the worst, so kind of just makes you average. So that's a big gap, right? It's a big gap between new gun owners and grandmasters. So what we want to do is make the step easier to get from here to here. Because most guys who go to courses, who get training, who train often, usually fall in this space right here. Now that space is still a big gap for new gun owners to go from here to jumping into a course, an 8-hour course, a 3-day course, a 4-day course, anything like that. They just don't do that. They're not going to jump straight into a competition. There's a lot of fundamentals that need to be learned. There's a lot of time that has to be put in. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we make that next step? So they've taken the first step of purchasing a gun. They've got one. They want it for self-defense. Maybe they've even gone as far as getting their LTC here in Texas. You may call it something else wherever you live. But they've got their license to carry. They're carrying. They've got a holster. But how often are they training and how proficient are they with that firearm? And for them to take that next step to get into a course is a really big step because they're dropping $200, $300, $400, $500, sometimes $800 on a course. Plus with ammo prices right now, if you've got a course that's 500 rounds, you're looking at anywhere from $250 up to $500 just in ammo. And so that's a big step for a lot of gun owners. And we don't know that every gun owner is going to make that step. And statistically, and what we've seen is most of them aren't. So we started Average Joe's as a way to narrow that gap. A range day that is relatively low in cost. Round count is fairly low. The drills are great drills, fundamental drills. You're learning from some experienced instructors and guys who have experience, not just instructing and shooting, but guys who have experience in real world, right? And we'll talk more about those guys in a minute. But we wanted to get you guys some good instruction to help you, to motivate you to take that next step. And one of the things that we heard a lot was, well, one, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do when I go to the range, so I just never go. And then two is like, oh, if I had somebody to go with, then I would go. And then, so we decided to build this range day in a way that gives you, one, the knowledge, the drills you can take with you to do, And then 2, to help you build community so that you're meeting people that are around you that are like-minded, that want to learn, want to continue to grow, so that we eliminate those 2 excuses. And then now you have drills you can do, you have people you can go with, you're more likely to go to the range. And as you go to the range, you'll get better and you'll have that hunger to continue to progress and take that next step to become one of these more advanced shooters that goes to, I don't want to say like more advanced classes, but that goes to more training more frequently to make yourself better, that maybe you want to make your way into Grandmaster. Maybe you want to take it that far, but you'll never get there if you don't take that first step from being a gun owner to training. So that's why Average Joe started. That's why we feel it's so important, because most gun owners are average. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. So to put this in perspective, right? I looked this up the other day. So in the NFL, there are, at any given time, any given year, there are only 1,696 players in the NFL. Out of everyone who plays football in the United States or even around the world, now that we have the European League and all that and guys come over, of everyone in the world, only 1,600, 1,700 guys are ever in the NFL. And the NFL is like the pinnacle. Like that's the very, very best. Those are the top tier guys, the grandmasters, if you will, of the sport. How many guys in the US are at that level in shooting? There's not very many men and women that are at that level. So everyone else kind of below that, that's what we're aiming after, right? So that's who our market audience is. And why that's important to us is because when people talk about guns, right, in the 2A community, and they talk about, you know, where's the 2A community going and who's going to be the voices for the 2A community, these guys are not the ones that people are looking at. Like, yeah, you see their shooting, you see the stuff you see in movies, all that, but people aren't having conversations with normal people every day. They're not having conversations with people at your work or people in your neighborhood or, you know, that your kids play sports with or any of that. The people who are here are going to be the best representatives of the 2A community. So the more squared away, the better representatives, the more proficient they are with their guns, the better representatives they will be of the 2A community to people who are anti-gun, people who are new to guns, and they're going to be the ones that help the 2A community continue to grow. And so this is sort of modeled after church planning. So for those of you know that I was a pastor, I've taken a lot of what I learned in church planning and pastoring and organizing community and things like that and applied it to the gun community. And so in the same way, right, like when I was a pastor, I could only ever preach to the people that showed up on Sundays. The people who had the most important conversations were the people who attended and then went out into their jobs, into their communities, their neighborhoods. It's the same thing. So that's why our guys are so dedicated to Average Joes. They're very sacrificial. I'm going to link all their Instagram accounts down below, and they're usually linked in all of our Average Joes videos. But go follow those guys. If you ever have questions, hit them up. They have sacrificed time, energy, money to make these happen because they believe in the movement and they believe in helping you guys. And really, that's it. We really don't make money off of Average Joe's range days. We don't. Now, a little bit about the guys that we have. So they don't talk about it. I never talk about it because if they're not going to talk about it, I don't talk about it. But the guys that you're getting instruction from, outside of our guest instructors that come in, like we've had Brittany come in, Raul's been out to our range days, we've had Matt, Mojo, all these other people that come out. Outside of them, just our core group of guys, these are guys who are in real world situations daily because some of them have professional jobs that they do, as a living behind a gun. So they know what it takes. And then even some of them have done stuff overseas, whether it's policing overseas or working in special units that we can't really talk about. But I've seen some of their write-ups. I've seen some of the things they do. And like some of the things these guys have done and still do today, you could write books about and write and make movies about, but they never talk about that. So just know the guys you are learning from have a solid knowledge base and they're there to help you in real world situations. That's Average Joe's. That's why it matters. For us, that's why it matters, because this is ultimately what's going to make the gun community better going forward. It's not about egos. It's not about flashiness or any of that. It's about making you proficient and making hits when it counts in real life so that you guys are squared away and good representatives of the 2A community. But usually the follow-up question to that is, what is an Average Joe's range day and what do I need to bring? So an Average Joe's range day is basically we bring 100 shooters together and we break you up into 3 groups and you're going to rotate between different shooting stations. You'll have a break for lunch and then you go through 3 different shooting stations in the afternoon. Now, your group that you're with is based off of your zip code, and that is so that you can build community there and build relationships. So when you guys leave, it's not just a one-day thing. It's like, oh man, I got to meet so-and-so, and it turns out he lives 2 blocks away from me, or he lives 10 minutes from me, and we can go shoot together. So that's why I set it that way. And then you will go through and you'll learn different drills and challenges and things like that. And at the end of the day, we usually have a top shot competition, which is a lot of fun, a way to bring everybody together, and we do giveaways as well. So thanks to our sponsors, our incredible sponsors that provide amazing stuff, and other companies and brands that support us. So that's what it looks like, just in a quick nutshell. That's what it's going to look like if you ever show up to one of our range days. You can watch any of our videos. They will give you a kind of a quick look at some of the instruction you'll get and kind of see some of the behind the scenes of what it actually looks and feels like to be there. What you need to bring what you have, so that at the end of the day, like, we don't have a requirement, you have to have a certain thing. We don't do that. We want you to bring what you have, because we understand not everybody can afford to have the full kit and all that. This is, again, very average, right? But we want you to be proficient with what you have. So whatever it is that you have, we want you to work in that. So if it's just a pistol, we can modify drills to help you to learn and grow. We've had guys who come out with just a rifle, and we, try to make it work so that they're getting the most out of their time there and still able to learn from these drills. So that's pretty much it. If you're looking at Average Joe's Range Day, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out, shoot us a DM, comment down below. We can answer those. Will you guys be offering courses? People want more one-on-one instruction, or in a smaller group to go a little bit deeper into some of the things we talk about? Yes, we are. So first course is actually coming up July 24th. You can sign up for that this coming Friday. I don't know when this will drop, but the Friday, either this drops or after, it'll be available to sign up for. And that'll be a fundamental pistol. We'll have fundamental carbine, and then we will progress from there. We have a whole list of courses that'll be coming going forward, and we want to continue to have more courses rolled out throughout the year so that you guys have the option to go more in depth on some of these things. So for info on those, the way you follow about Average Joe's, our range days, about our courses, any of that, follow Average Joe's on Instagram. It's right here. Go follow that account. Also, any of our accounts, any of the guys linked down below in the description, any of those guys, I'll put all their Instagrams and my own. We always post up on there leading up. We give you guys a huge advance notice before we even put the enrollment up, so you guys will know way in advance. So just follow along there. That's where you find out the information, always up to date there. Transitioning to Average Joe's across America. A lot of people ask, like, how does Average Joe's across America work? Like, do you guys come and set it up? Like, are we setting it up? What do we do? So the way that I always describe it is that it's your party, and we're just showing up to help you set up and celebrate, right? That's what we're doing. Because, and the reason we did this was, again, this goes back to my experience as a pastor in church planning. If we come in and we put on an event, right, and we bring Average Joe's, when we leave, majority of that goes with us, right? And what I mean by that is, like, if we create hype around an event and we all show up and we have a great time, there's no one there to carry that momentum and keep it going throughout the year. So we really push for there to be a leader in that area to take on leadership and take on the responsibility of making that happen. And so far, the people we've had have done an amazing job, like Eli, Jello, and DJ Sailor did an amazing job in Arizona. The guys we knew out in Vegas, and there's some other guys we already know who are working in other states and other cities for the fall and other things we have going on. And those guys do an amazing job. Guys and girls do an amazing job. And the whole concept behind that is that we want it to continue to beyond us, because this is bigger than us and our group. It's bigger than Average Joe's. So we want you guys to take on leadership so that the gun community in your area will continue to grow and flourish even without us. So that if one day we said, hey, we don't want to do Average Joe's anymore, your community will continue to grow. It'll continue to flourish, and those relationships will continue to build over time. Because I told Eli, like, hey, man, I won't be at all the matches in San Antonio. I won't be there in the area, and so if somebody calls me to, like, go shoot, but you will. And the same thing in Arizona, the same thing in Vegas, in Florida, in Mississippi, in the Pacific Northwest, in the Midwest. It's the same way everywhere. So we want a leader there that people can look to help organize. They don't have to know everything. They don't have to, run any drills. They just got to be willing to help grow their community there. So that's how it works. And we answer any questions you have. We help you as much as we can. We give advice. You can ask DJ, you can ask Jello, you can ask Eli, you can ask any of the guys. We do everything we can to try to help you and answer the questions we have. Or questions you have. So if you're interested, again, reach out. We're glad to help in any way. And even if you don't want it to be an Average Joe's thing, you just want to grow the community there, hit me up. Or again, drop questions down in the comments and we'll answer those. Are you coming to whatever city? And if you're interested in it happening in your city, shoot us a DM or apply. The application's on my website, jimsgoonlife.com. You can go in there and apply, and that's the best way to make it happen. The places that we're in talks with are Mississippi, Homestead, Florida, up in the Pacific Northwest, maybe somewhere in the Midwest, and then looking at going back down south to San Antonio again, maybe back to Vegas again, maybe California. We'll see. So those are the places we're in talks with to see if we can make it happen logistically. So, but if your city isn't on that list and you want to see it come that way, apply, take leadership, make it happen. How do I get sponsorships or vendors to come out to my range day? So I would tell you, and we're incredibly grateful for the sponsors we have and the brands that work with us. And again, all of our sponsors, these guys right here, we're incredibly grateful for them. They've done amazing, and they've come alongside and said, hey, we love what you guys are doing for the community, and we want to support that in the best way that we can. And so they've been a huge help for us and support for us to help make sure that we can get to range days and get these videos and content out to you guys. So if you're not already, go follow all of them, go support them, whatever it is, buy a shirt, buy a sticker, whatever. They're amazing, doing amazing things for the 2A community, and we're grateful for them. But I will tell you this, range days are not all about the sponsors and the vendors. From my experience, what I can tell, the most important thing about your range day is the community and the training. The sponsors, the vendors are icing on the cake, and people love that they're there, and people appreciate, like we appreciate every time one of our vendors is there. But don't make that the main thing. Don't think that your range day is going to be somehow less because you don't have vendors out there or sponsors out there with stuff, because that's really not what it's about, right? It's not about the stuff. It's about the people and the training. So we'll talk more on that in a future video. I can't really go into depth on that right now. Ooh, this is a good one. Will y'all be doing a block of instruction on whatever? We've had medical, we've had comms, we've had night vision, we've had low light, and the answer is usually no to all of these things. The reason being, our range days are very much geared towards average, right? So, and that average is a big group. And these are new shooters. These are more experienced shooters. So we have to create content or create a course, if you will, or blocks of instruction that are geared towards everybody in there, that aren't too high speed for the low speed guys and aren't too low speed for the high speed guys. Does that make sense? So that's what we're aiming for there. With things like medical, things like comms, things like night vision, low light, we would push you to go to a specific course, and we even give you recommendations on guys that are doing that. We do have courses lined up that are going to handle some of these, but we'll always point you in the direction. If you have a question about, hey, who would you recommend for whatever, we're going to say, hey, here's 5 or 6 guys or girls that we think would be great to go take that, go do that. And that's going to be the best bet for right now. That way we don't isolate people on range days, because if we did low light, if we did night vision, I mean, you're talking about fewer people being there, higher liabilities. It's just a whole big mess, right? So we'd rather you go to a specific course for that. Oh, yes, we get this a lot. So about our range days, we get this a ton. Are you guys ever going to have more than 100 people? And realistically, right now, the answer is no. The reason being is that we can't guarantee a quality experience for any more than 100 right now. Right now, 100 is our cap, because if we add more people, it means we add more blocks, which means the day goes longer. And as the day goes longer, people get more worn out, especially in this Texas heat. So that doesn't work. Or we could have more shooters, but just have guys doing the same drills in different bays. But that requires more instructors. And you're talking about a lot of land, a lot of space, a lot of instructors to come out. Logistically, it's just crazy. And then the community aspect, that goes out the window with too many people. So we're in our kind of sweet spot right now. Long term, maybe. But as of right now, no. Simply because we can't guarantee a quality experience for the people that do show up. And this goes back to something I said in a previous video, which is do for some what you wish you could do for all. Now, we can only have 100 people there, but we want the 100 people there to have the best possible experience they can. And I wish that I could have that experience for everybody that wants to come out, but I can't. So for the 100 that are there, I'm going to make it the very best that we can. Y'all should be charging more for range days. This isn't really a question. It's something people tell us all the time. Like, you guys charge too little. I think right now we're at like $37 for our range day, and that's your range, all your instruction, your giveaway prizes, all that, the food. Shout out to OMG and Matt's Barbecue Journal. You guys are amazing. The reason we keep it at that price is because, again, this is not, Average Joe's range day is not about making money for us. We have courses, and our instructors will be compensated differently for our courses, because that is a whole different beast. But our range days are not about us making money. They're about growing the community. And so in a way, we're sacrificing here to make sure that happens long term. And we'd rather see more people out there. And again, if we raise that price, the cost of entry for the new shooter goes up through the roof, right? Because they've just bought their first gun, they've bought ammo. And so to try to spend even $100 or $150 on a range day is a little steep for them. And we want to remove as many excuses as possible, right? I don't want anybody to ever give me an excuse on why they can't come to a range day, right? Because if they say, oh, I can't afford it, I'm like, it's $37, right? You spend more than that at Chili's on a Friday night, or Applebee's. Yeah, I know you guys that go out to Applebee's and get schmammered, all right? So, we keep the price low. We make it super welcoming. We try to create a fun and great environment to develop community. And then we have some giveaway stuff for you guys. So we try to make it as appealing as possible so that people are more inclined to take that step. And we also try to keep the quality of instruction high so that even guys who are a little bit more advanced shooters are still getting something out of it and feel like they're progressing even when they're coming out. So that's why we don't charge more. But I would tell you, like, if you want to support us, I've heard rumors. What do I know? I'm just a guy who's a part of Average Joe's, maybe, kind of. But I've heard rumors of shirts dropping. So some of you have asked about shirts. There will be another shirt drop coming soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That's a great way to support us if you want to support the movement and the cause and help some of our guys out. Shirts are going to be coming out, patches, and some other things. So keep an eye out for that, or take one of our courses. This video has gone on way too long, but last question, which is one that we get asked a ton. And quick disclaimer, my thoughts and feelings on this do not reflect that of all the Average Joes, meaning the core group. This is something that we've had discussions about quite a bit, and we've continued to have discussions as ongoing, but that's Average Janes. Why don't you guys do an Average Janes? Will you ever do an Average Janes? And if we can find a female shooter instructor here locally that is qualified, that is proficient, that is good at what she does and is consistent here, that we could continually do that for women and help grow the female community, absolutely would. I mean, I understand that women feel better shooting around other women and sometimes don't have to deal with some of the issues that men can bring in that area. But my thoughts and feelings are that at the end of the day, what we're ultimately training for is self-defense in one form or another, whatever that looks like. I know we do shoot for fun, but at the end of the day, it is ultimately about self-defense. That's what this tool was made for. So in that regard, when you're in the streets, when you're in whatever situation, that situation doesn't care if you're a female. It doesn't care if you're a new shooter, if you shoot open gun, if you shoot optic carry, if you shoot whatever, right? There are no rules out there. And so it doesn't matter if you're a female or a male. What matters is that you're proficient in that moment and that you're able to do what you need to do. And so I don't feel like, personally, if we did a female-only course or something that was like a beginner course for females, that would benefit the shooting community, that it would benefit females. What I would rather have is see more females out at our courses and do more to encourage them, do more to support them, do more to make sure they feel welcome, do more to make sure that they're encouraged and out there, because that's what we need, is more good female representatives out amongst the guys, as opposed to continually putting them in their own group and putting guys in their own group. Now, something we would do that we've discussed is doing a beginner course for male or female. Doesn't matter who's there, just an entry-level course, and having that be a safe space, and that if you need that extra time. But again, going back to what I said at the very beginning, I do understand that with female shooters, there are some instances where guys can make things complicated. Like, we all know that. So yes, we would like to do that at some point to accommodate female shooters, but at the end of the day, I just want to see more good female shooters, right? I want to see just good shooters in general. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your race is. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you shoot ported or non-ported, comped or non-comped. I don't care if you have optics or irons. I don't care about any of that. Like, run whatever you want to run. Who you are and where you come from doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what matters is that you're proficient with your firearm and that you're a good representative of the 2A community and the rest of us. And just a side note, I'm then confident that you're not going to shoot me in the back should something ever happen and I'm around you, like out in the streets in real life. So that's that. Hopefully I didn't step on your toes too much, but yeah, that's our questions. If you have something in there that you feel like I didn't answer, or something that you're curious about, leave it in the comments below, or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram. But thank you guys for following along. As always, thank you for all your support. We're incredibly grateful. I know all the other Joes are just amazed by the support we've had from you guys. So make sure you hit that like, subscribe, karate chop that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.